So at this point, we've all been making fun of the Cybertruck for how just bad it looks generally. Like, even if you think it looks kind of interesting, we can all admit there's parts of it that just look truly terrible. Especially sometimes I find myself looking at it from the back and I'm like, holy shit, this just looks so ugly. But I've made a whole video about that. I've made a whole video about the flaws of the Cybertruck, about how people who've seen it up close think it just isn't made properly. Obviously, it's gonna be illegal in most of Europe because there's actual proper road safety laws, which I'm gonna talk about a bit at the end, because underlying all of this is just American car culture being insanely dangerous, especially for things like trucks, where you can be super young in America, get a driving license as a teenager, and then you can drive something that weighs thousands of kilograms as your first car. Doesn't seem like a recipe for disaster at all. So what I actually wanted to look at today more was Cybertruck Fans, which is an offshoot of Tesla Fans, which is obviously an offshoot of just general Elon Musk simps, because I made a video, this is ages ago, talking about like the cult of Tesla and talking about all these weird like Tesla fan communities, which were very big in America. But of course, now it's very much tainted by Elon being like a full fascist. But at the same time, a lot of them still love him for these, you know, expensive electric cars, which are not becoming obsolete, but there's a lot of competition now that there wasn't maybe, you know, 6, 7, 8 years ago. So people don't actually have to buy these cars if they want an electric car. But still, there's a new section of them, the Cybertruck Fans, and yes, they are very, very weird, but to their credit, they're not completely blind, because they are acknowledging now Elon has pulled a fast one on them, promising it would only be 40k, and now like a lesser version of the Cybertruck is 50k, but if you basically want what you were promised, that will cost 100k. And a lot of people who love the Cybertruck are not very happy about this, but then you also have people who've got tattoos of the Cybertruck on their arm. If there's anything visually worse than the Cybertruck, it's the Cybertruck being tattooed onto someone's body. So all of that coming up for you today. Please like the video, let me know your thoughts, and I haven't promoted anything in my videos for a while. But yeah, it's the end of the year. Check out my Instagram if you want to keep up with basically like my normal life. My Twitter for my spicy hot takes on Normies Gate 3. Check out the Patreon if you want to support the channel and get access to the Discord server. And the links to basically every single thing are in my description. So I've probably started this whole video showing you this clip because we can't not laugh at it. But it's a clip of a bunch of white dudes, for some reason, kicking the Cybertruck, trying to dent it. And yes, it looks very, very bizarre. And when it comes from an account called the Tesla Motors Community, you do think this is a bunch of Elon Musk simps, like, being stupid. But to be fair, this is actually a longer YouTube video, which I want to share some of the clips with you from the actual video, because I actually think it's a good video. Like, it's a very, very comprehensive review of the Cybertruck. Just unfortunately, this is what people are going to remember it for, and it really gave the Cybertruck like a very bad image. Well, even what they're doing there is quite relevant, because we're going to see how dangerous the Cybertruck is. But something else you might have seen is bizarre, like, animated things of Cybertrucks in the sea. And that's not just some random person inventing scenarios. That's because Cybertruck will be able to travel as a boat until it sinks. I mean, is this like Michael Scott driving into a river or a lake in The Office? So Elon Musk said, this mod package would allow the Cybertruck to traverse at least 100 meters of water. Mostly just need to upgrade the cabin door seals. Sounds like you're making a coffin for yourself. And the article is saying, to be clear, there are plenty of reasons we shouldn't take Musk at his word. Besides, the last time we checked, an actual boat can float indefinitely. What good is a vessel that can only cover 330 feet? What happens after the covers the distance? Yeah, you have a nice watery tomb as your very overpriced electric vehicle. But this is what really got me onto the scent of the cult of the Cybertruck, because this is from an account called the Tesla Owners Silicon Valley. And this only has 1 million followers. And because I've been following this stuff for a while, I know this is not the only account like this. There are so many. But if you buy into the cult of Tesla, you buy into the cult of Musk. So this account tweeting, Tesla created more millionaires than any other company in the world. Elon Musk, not sure why Elon Musk is just at the bottom there. It's just promoting like Cybertruck things, saying the Cybertruck looks like the Batmobile when it has a matte black finish. Again, don't know what this has to do with cars. Free speech is the bedrock of democracy. Elon Musk X is making this possible. So again, yeah, you have to buy into the cult of Musk to be on board with some of these cars. Like, I don't, I've never been in a Tesla. Maybe you guys have them. Hopefully not the Cybertruck. So maybe they're good cars or whatever. But this much investment in a car seems pretty unhealthy and seems like it would be populated by people just like Elon, in which I mean divorced dads in their 50s. And you have other people who've made like the Cybertruck their whole personality. The Cybertruck guy tweeting stuff like, my 2024 New Year's resolution is to buy a Cybertruck. Who else? I mean, if your name is the Cybertruck guy, I really hope you're buying one and you just haven't made a car that you're never going to own your whole personality. Has stuff like this. Horses pulling the gas car out of the mud. I'll stick to my horse, thanks. They are obviously superior. Gas cars will never go off-roading. And what this is in response to is there has been a viral video of the Tesla Cybertruck having to be towed. Despite being a truck which has been promoted as something that can go off-road, it seems to have gotten stuck on a small hill, so I'll probably play this for you already. In a video making the rounds on Reddit, a Cybertruck with a Christmas tree loaded in its bed can be seen struggling to climb a small snowy hill with its tyres helplessly spinning out as the driver hits the accelerator. The nearly 7,000-pound truck can be seen slowly being towed up the hill by a white Ford, which has provided assistance from a dirt track at the top of the hill. In short, it's not exactly a great look for a truck that's meant to have more utility than a truck, as Musk promised last month. Sure, it can accelerate from 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds, which is very, very concerning in my opinion, but we're going to touch on that later. But what's the use of a truck that can't even climb a simple hill? But basically what the Cybertruck was coping himself about was looking at a horse pulling out an actual car, basically saying that just because an old style pickup truck had to pull the Cybertruck out doesn't mean it's actually obsolete. That truck just might be better at one thing. Again, it sounds like someone else is coping. But yeah, there is a weird community around this thing, and there's also a Cybertruck Reddit with 56,000 members, which seems quite high for one car from one car manufacturer. Like 50,000 people on Reddit. Now, what you need to understand about the Cybertruck is it was marketed as something that would be relatively affordable for a type of pickup truck. 40k, right? But as we've gotten closer and closer to people being able to get their hands on them, weird things have come out, like signing a contract that you can't resell it at all. Other things about it just being far more expensive than promised. Things like, the windscreen wipers being like $2,000 to replace if you need a new one. And obviously some clear design flaws, which are quite common in Teslas. It looks like some of the pieces don't fit right on the car. Some of the stitching on the interiors is quite bad. Like, for a lot of people, the quality does not match the price they're paying. And, like, to be fair to some of these people, they are a bit mad at this. Because, like I said, the promised version was 40k, a complete version. But now to actually get a version similar to the one promised, you're going to have to fork out 100k. So, a post on the subreddit the other day, invite received, surprised, and turning it down. So I live in Iowa, nearest Tesla dealership is 3 hours away in Illinois. So I'm surprised I got an invite to order the Foundation series. Must be getting not enough buy-through if they're contacting me. I was unimpressed with the launch specs and prices. So where I wanted a 50k AWD truck with an exoskeleton and built-in bed ramp and air compressor, I'm not buying this offer missing truck features for 100k. I have always hated the looks, was quite okay with the ugliness at the previous price features. Call me a hater, I don't care. So just to clarify what he's getting at, so the new Tesla Cybertruck currently starts from $79,000 for a dual motor car with all-wheel drive, rising to $99,990, weird price, if you want the Cyber Beast version. If that seems a bit rich for you, a rear wheel drive version will be available for $60,000 in 2025, which takes a hit in terms of the range, with 250 miles on a charge compared to 340 miles. A lot of the comments agreeing with him, saying, I'm with you 100%, give me the 50k utilitarian truck you showed on launch. I'm in the exact same boat as you. I could have ignored the ugliness for the price and range. Now that they have neither, I'm not interested. Some people coping though, pointing out he shouldn't even be complaining here, saying, I was shopping for a television the other day. I was thinking about getting a Sony TV, but decided to get a Samsung. So I will be going to the Sony subreddit later telling everybody I know I will not be buying it, it's important that everybody know I will not be buying the Sony TV. So apparently, even if you reserved one, you're not allowed to be mad that Elon Musk lied to you about the features you'd be getting in the base model, and basically scaling all that back. And if you want something close to it, you're going to have to get the Cyber Beast model. That's not okay. You're not allowed to be mad that Elon Musk pulled a fast one on you, according to some people in the subreddit. But like I said, not all these people are idiots. At least they were calling it ugly, but they're saying it was a good deal, basically, for 40k or 50k. Talking about the boat thing, where he said it would turn to a boat, at least the comments were all memeing on him and hating on him. Some idiot is going to try and push it to 110 meters and lose their $115,000 truck. Elon thought of this 3 minutes before tweeting. That's how the engineers found out. It only took 4 years longer to release the vehicle at a plus 40% over advertised price. Surely they'll follow through with his promise. And despite, Elon Musk fans generally being a cult, at least sometimes they think people have gone too far. So this made me crack up. I got this yesterday, but will I regret it? And it's just a terrible tattoo of the Cybertruck. Now, I know what you're thinking. When I first saw that, I'm like, this isn't the actual person. Like, no way this person actually thought this was a good idea and to run to the Cybertruck Reddit and post it thinking he'd get good feedback. But I actually went on his profile and he just seems to be one of those guys who just gets random tattoos. Like, he was just posting on tattoo subreddits about random stuff. So thankfully, so many funny comments saying, you don't already regret it. I already regret it for you. Beautiful tat if you like shit line work. I hope you're kidding. That's a horribly executed tattoo. It's not even on my arm and I regret it. This is my first time experiencing vicarious regret. Have you ever been laid because you won't be now? What the F is this? Something uglier than the truck itself. Do you even have one yet? We regret it already for you. Yikes, dude. You got a multi-billion-dollar mega corporation who doesn't know you exist branded on you for life. Him replying, thought I'd get something to celebrate the truck. Most people think it's kind of cool. People are saying, your mum has to tell you it's cool, she's your mum. Bro, I'm so sorry for you. So yeah, if you've ever felt bad about your life, just think about that guy who got a terrible car, which really seems like a potential death trap, and he's got it tattooed to his arm forever. I don't even know people in my personal life who just get random ass tattoos that often look like shit. I'd even think they'd have a bit more self-respect to not get this terrible Cybertruck. It looks like it was drawn with a biro pen. Like, that's how bad it looks. It's so not straight. I hope he didn't pay too much money for it. Just so bad. Now, if you go on the Cybertruck Reddit, you will find a lot of, very positive comments about it, you can imagine. They're just not as fun to go through, right? But yeah, if you want to see that, if you want to see this mass delusion, which kind of is embodied by the Cybertruck tattoo, then go look at it. But what I want to talk about now is the actual danger of the Cybertruck. Now, you saw those guys all kicking the Cybertruck, but this is actually from a YouTuber called Car Wow, and I'm not going to play too much of this for you, but I do recommend, if you're just interested in the Cybertruck at all, for bad reasons too, go watch this whole video because he does review it all. But he also starts to break down the bad parts. I think in every review he has a little bit where he talks about the bad parts, and I found this very interesting, and it made me think a lot about the danger of the Cybertruck. And then I want to look at another video by AI Driver, who really talks about why it's so dangerous. So let's start with Car Wow.
Anyway, that brings on to 5 annoying things about the Tesla Cybertruck.
You get a very small rear view mirror, and it becomes completely useless once you shut the tonneau cover. So if we shut the tonneau cover now, look, oh dear, and now you can't see anything out of the mirror. To be fair, you do have a camera which then displays rearward as you're driving along so you can see what is behind you, but the mirror's always better. It's unlikely that the Cybertruck will ever be sold in Europe because of our more stringent pedestrian protection regulations. You see, this is not really going to be very yielding if you hit someone. It's all very hard. Look, imagine banging your head off there. I mean, more than likely you'll go underneath it, but still, bang. Hard edges. Imagine if you hit this. It's going to do so much damage even at very low speed. Now, relying on a camera to be able to see behind you is all well and good so long as the camera is clean. And unfortunately, Tesla, unlike some other car manufacturers, hasn't decided to put a little washer over the rear view camera, so it can get covered in dirt like this, and then you're not going to really be able to see anything through the camera, which means you're going to have to stop the car, get out, and then wipe it with your finger. So you've got all your usual Tesla-iness, so you can whip through all the different controls. You've got your navigation, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. That is where all your information is. Unfortunately, they haven't fitted a heads-up display to this car. I mean, they really, really should have done, because that's one thing that's always missing from Teslas.
So watching this video and seeing like how hard that metal was, and just thinking about, you know, car crashes or just hitting pedestrians with this thing and how damaging it could be, like in various different ways. Like, yeah, of course, if you're getting hit by a car, it's going to be bad news. It would probably be worse news if the car has very sharp edges and has a really, really hard metal surface, like slanted like that. And also, this car is also a lot faster than most pickup trucks as well. Tesla has a more sensitive acceleration pedal, which has actually caused a lot of issues in the past. And also, he talked about there being no like proper rear view mirror if the truck thing is on, right? Which most people will drive around with that on. So you have to use the camera, which can get dirty, but you also have to use this like touchscreen dash, which to me is absolutely insane, because I was watching him use this in the video, and I drive a manual. Most people in the UK drive a manual, so I'm not really distracted much when I'm driving, because even if I wanted to, you have to focus on changing the gears all the time. But I know it's more common in America, especially the way the roads are designed, where you're driving in a straight line most of the time, that people just don't pay attention when they're driving. They do other things when they're driving, because all you need to do is put your foot on the accelerator or the brake and turn the wheel, right? Your hands are basically on the wheel and you have a hand free because you don't have a gear stick to change or anything, right? And the thought of that, with messing around on this touchscreen thing at the same time, for basic functions, it's not just for like playing stupid games or watching TV, which they do have on that, which I find it quite bizarre that's even legal, really, like having a, you know, basically an inbuilt TV on your dash. But at the same time, like changing your mirrors, doing loads of basic things with the car is all on this little screen, which is sizable as well. So you're probably looking at it because it doesn't come naturally. Like where most of us drive cars, where everything is pretty accessible and like the windscreen wipers or stuff to do with the mirrors, it's all just in front of us. With a screen on the side, I just think draws your attention away so much. And I know this isn't like a brand new thing with the Cybertruck. It's in a lot of Tesla cars as well. But as we're going to get onto the next one, why it's so dangerous is because it's like driving a mini tank around and you don't need any extra license for it. Because I think the ease of driving this car, and then you have the touchscreen as a distraction, it's so heavy, it's so sharp, and because it has this like cult-like branding around it, you know loads of people are going to get it just for attention. And I think all of that together creates a terrible recipe for disaster. Like there's a reason these types of things are banned in Europe, because first of all, European roads are way different to American roads, just the way the cities have been built. But at the same time, it's just such a danger to actually either hurting other motorists or pedestrians. And there's a video by a YouTuber called AI Driver, which I thought was really good. And basically what he does in the video, he goes through the recent like crash tests you've been seeing going viral on Twitter, which he's saying make the Cybertruck look really bad. But he says the problem isn't the crash test. He said it's not that actually different from other trucks. The problem is the size of this thing, but it's a wider problem in America where you have massive trucks that weigh thousands of kilograms driving around where you can barely even see what's, you know, below you because it's so high up. And I find these cars utterly bizarre. But I just want to play you a tiny bit of this, especially if you're European and haven't really seen the size of these things.
Trucks in general have been getting bigger and heavier for quite some time, which makes them increasingly dangerous for everyone around them. A normal-sized pickup truck these days, like the Ram 1500, can be 6,400 pounds. A normal heavy-duty truck like the F250 can weigh in at over 7,600 pounds. And although these monstrosities may seem barbaric to the people that live in parts of the world with strict pedestrian safety standards, the US buys them up like crazy. And get something like this International CXT, which weighs in at a whopping 14,500 pounds, weighing in at about 6,800 pounds and is made from space-grade stainless steel. But unlike a regular tank, it can get from 0 to 60 miles an hour in 2.6 seconds. And the scariest part about that for me and everyone else on the road is that just like those trucks we looked at a second ago, anyone will be able to go out and buy one. It's hard to imagine that some 16-year-old TikToker can go out and buy something like this as their very first car without any real driving experience.
The line about the 16-year-old TikToker buying this as their first car is just, you know, something that I had never really thought about, but is actually really terrifying. Because, yeah, you know, I've been driving since I was 18. I've always been like a responsible driver. I've never really been in any accidents before. I've had cars crash into the back of me while I've literally been standing still. I've never been in a significant accident. I drive all the time and stuff. Like, I know teenagers can be responsible. But at the same time, most teenagers don't have that much disposable income unless you're like some sort of social media star where dropping 50 to 100k on a new car probably isn't much of a big deal. And when everyone is giving this car attention, including myself, because of how bad, in my opinion, it looks, then for a video, wouldn't it be fun to buy a Cybertruck and drive it around? But what it does, it takes the worst elements of a standard Tesla car and puts it in something insane, where it just makes it so much more dangerous because your hands are busy doing stuff while you're looking at a secondary screen and not on the road, and you're in a truck which, unlike most pickup trucks, even the big ones, just goes so much faster and can reach 60 in 3 seconds. And like I said, Tesla's accelerator is more sensitive, so it's easier to do that. So it just sounds like an absolute nightmare. And it feels like soon we're going to be seeing stories, if this does go into like real mass production, becomes popular, of people just causing terrible accidents with the Cybertruck and the fatality rates being higher. But like that YouTuber AI driver said, it's a wider problem in America with people just owning absolutely huge, massive pickup trucks, which are just illegal in so many places because they're so dangerous. And you don't need any special license to drive them. Which you feel like if there's a vehicle that's illegal in many countries for being unsafe, maybe you need special training for it. But in the land of the free, just become a 15-year-old TikToker, pass your test, and go grab a Cybertruck and drive it around. But yeah, that is it for Cybertruck fans. A bit of a mixed bag. You do get the typical delusion of the Elon fanboys, but thankfully, a lot of people just wanted one because it seemed like a cheap alternative to another pickup truck. But then sadly, Elon being Elon, he's sold them a pipe dream, because if they want that, you're going to have to fork out 100 and something K. And the base model is not going to fulfill your needs, either because its battery's worse, or either that there's features that were promised that are now missing from that version. But that is it for the video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and if you made it this far, thank you for watching.